You don't know where we're filming today, do you?
No, I don't. I'm a little nervous, actually.
I'll keep you in the dark.
You normally do.
I think you'll have some input. Maybe.
Is this a surprise?
Huh?
Is there a surprise in here?
Well, let's see. I think what we need to do is we have this maricle plant that we plant. And I, you know, a lot of other people plant it too. But to me, it's one of the most important things we could plant. And here's the big reveal. What is that, babe?
Big Boost Brassica?
Big Boost Brassica. I mean, we have a certain way we like to put it together. We have a certain way I like to plant it to make sure it's successful. But it really is a miracle plant because if you plant it and you get it to grow and you do it right, it produces a ton of volume, literally tons of volume in a very short period of time. Watch out for that. Oh, you almost hit the wagon. That would have taken you out.
I doubt it.
But I want to go out and we're going to reveal what to plant, where to plant it. We probably don't need the bag board back here, do we? So when is the best timing, what, and where? And it's not just a where, it's what are you planting alongside, and we're gonna go show that to people. Because we put ours in on July 22nd, I think is right. And I happened to go look at it today to see what it looked at. It looked really pretty. And we have a lot of it all over the place because Jen actually broadcasts.
I always get nervous when I broadcast.
Especially Brassica.
Yes.
Because you can overdo it. So we're gonna go check it out and grade you. But do we need these bag boards in here? So let's go drop these off.
What if a game gets...
Look at this fancy deer on here too. Wow. And these are Jen's bag boards actually. She is a quote professional. Let's just say kinda.
I win.
Almost.
Yeah, I win.
You're a ringer. She's a ringer.
I can handle my own.
So let's go take a look at these Brassica plantings. I want you guys to be successful with them because it is not just our seed blend that's a miracle. I'm not trying to say that. What I'm saying is that it really is a wonderful seed variety and type of seeds that you can plant. We really focus on a little bit of kale in some of our plantings, but for what we're using out here in a big Boost Brassica out in this ag country right here, it's radish, rape, and
Turnip.
So let's go. Now Brassica is the family, like I said, it gives you a lot of tonnage in a short period of time. There are places where Brassicas aren't as appropriate. You look at huge ag areas, not a lot of deer. I often say if the deer won't touch it, it's because you have too few deer. If you have moderate amounts, an average amount of deer in an ag area, they're likely going to touch it, but there's going to be some reasons why they don't. We're going to go over out here. But Brassicas are great because of that volume. They're very nutritious, they're full of moisture, and so even when things get dry, Brassicas will always be moisture laden. In fact, cattle, if you let them on and graze rape back in the day too soon, you had to wean them on to the Brassica. You had to really stagger how much that they were exposed to browsing because they can bloat. So it can cause some severe problems to cattle because there's so much moisture. They eat all that rape and then it would cause that bloating, which is a bad thing. So in the deer world, that moisture is a good thing, especially in the fall when weeds are dying. There's not as much moisture in the corn anywhere else. You don't have that green grass, and they're getting their last cutting of hay, and so really it's a great crop, not only for the nutrition but for the moisture too. And count yourself lucky if the deer eat it, and lucky to the tune of probably 85% of the country or in the deer world, because of that volume, because of that nutrition, and because of that moisture. It really sets it on top for food plot forages that you can plant. And it's why it was one of our first 2 seed blends. Jen, do we have 19 offerings now or 17 including?
I think it's 19 or 20.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Rut Zone might have been 20, I'm not sure.
I think it was actually.
But it was one of our first 2 offerings, our fall power greens and then the Big Boost Brassica. They were our first 2 seed blends that we offered 3 summers ago. And kind of has grown from there to 20 different seed blends now. But the importance of Brassica and how it relates to everything we've done for over 20 years in food plotting and whitetail and success with whitetail and building properties. It's been an amazing seed variety, and let's go take a look. That's kind of funny. We're walking down rut zone on the top half of the field, and then the remaining 50% here, this half is in our fall power greens, and you can see, I mean, they are coming up outstanding. And this half is in our Big Boost Brassica. And Jen, which half did you plant?
The Brassica.
Are you proud?
I seem to be proud, yeah.
You seem to be. You should be. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, it looks really good, actually.
And you can see it's very weed free. And you know, the whole purpose of this in planting our Brassica and our Big Boost Brassica is we want full volume on this Brassica. They do eat it around here, and we want full volume because we want to get that tonnage per acre. It's something that they hit heavily in November, especially starting in late October. And so it's really important the timing of when you plant. For example, when you get into Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, New York, when you plant, I've seen a lot of plots I go to in the spring on client properties, and there'll be just immature little plants like this coming up in the spring. And I say you planted those around Labor Day. And what happens is you plant them around Labor Day, you're in a northern state, frost and freeze hit sometime late September, October, and they really never get off the ground. You don't get that sun exposure, the sun's not high in the sky, you don't get those warm days, more cool nights, you get in the 40s, 50s, even when it's not frost, and that Brassica just really starts to slow. When you plant that at the right timing, which around us is around August 1st, when you get into Kentucky, West Virginia, that's going to be more southern Ohio, southern Illinois, southern Iowa, Missouri, Kansas. You're going to be looking at more the second, third week of August, so 2 to 3 weeks after us. And then when you get down to Louisiana in areas like that, you're planting in October, October 1st, middle of October, depending on rain. And so the timing of it, it doesn't have to do with a certain date, you know, August 1st. We actually planted ours this year on July 22nd. Why? Because rain was in the forecast. I'd rather say, okay, the perfect date is August 1st, August 5th. But if you have rain in the forecast, July 25th in our case, I don't want to miss that rain. Likewise, if I say, well, it's drought July 25th, it's drought August 1st, well, then I'm probably going to wait 2 weeks and plant. So give or take a week to 10 days on either side, I want to find that moisture pattern, and that's that best timing. That best timing allows that Brassica plant to mature. You can see right now, we had immediate germination. We had rain. That night it had rained in the morning. By the next day, we had germination. Dylan and I were out here, and all those little seeds had already started to germinate just in one day. That's really critical because that first month, you can only expect anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of growth, that first month. The second month of growth, you're going to get about 12 to 15 inches of growth, and that third month, you're going to get about 12 to 15 inches of growth. So when I go to a property and I see that you only have 4-inch immature plants that made it through the winter and they were so immature that they didn't get frosted out, they still had growth and life in them, so they grew the following spring. And they're only this big, and you can tell they had a month or 6 week too late planting period. So see that all the time. So you really want to get that early start so you can get that first month out of the way, because that second and third month is where you're going to get that full amount of growth, because that root system is established. So it's really important to get your timing down on the Brassica. But that's not just it. When you look around here, we have tillage radish, these bigger leaves right here. We have forage rape and forage turnip in here. We have purple top turnip, green globe. So we have 5 or 6 varieties that are typical of a Brassica blend. Those big globes, as far as what we're planting, those big globes, and really I should even back up, because timing is one thing, what you plant is another, but what you plant it next to and why is so critical too. So I'm going to talk about that last. But what you plant, always remember, the tillage radish is the first Brassica, it's the first in that Brassica family that the deer eat. It's the most attractive. They'll eat the actual radish itself, which can grow this big around. I didn't even tell you, some in 10 days already, we have some that are probably around the size of a nickel, which is outstanding quick growth. We're truly going to get that foot to 15-inch high, big around as the end of a baseball bat. That's the first radish they eat, or first brassica they eat. The forage varieties of rape or turnip are in the middle. That's what they'll eat second. They eat the forage, the green. And then those big bulbs of green globe, purple top, there's various bulbs out there, is what they eat last. So you want to have that early, mid, and late combo all together, because you want to establish that forage on the brassica sometime in October, and then have brassica varieties that mature at different times all the way to the end. You don't want it to be front weighted, rear weighted, or in the middle. And that brings up kale. Kale is something we add, but kale comes after attraction, after the bulb varieties of purple top and green globe. So you want that kale, we put that in our big woods blend. So when you have zero other forage out there, and anything green growing in a plat, northern, big woods, wilderness, big woods of Kentucky, Pennsylvania, where the deer don't have much else to eat, so anything green they're gonna attack, then that's where that kale, that's why we call it our big woods brassica, because we add the kale to it, because it's the least attractive and it actually offers the most volume of any brassica. If we put it out here, then we're clearing shooting lanes through it. We have a Family Traditions tower stand right behind Jen back there, and this is a really cool spot to sit during muzzleloader season. We literally would have to come out here with kale and make shooting lanes through it and mow it down in order to get shots, because you have these stems that grow up about as big around my finger. They stay there all the way until spring. The deer don't eat them around here, where in those other settings of big woods, they're going to eat them heartily, and it's going to provide a ton of volume. And they'll eat them a little bit later, so you can establish some volume, which is ultimately what we're trying to do out here, which is why weed control is so important, and why we offer the power greens over there, the fall power greens, which I've always had that fall blend, because that's what they'll eat before this. So it allows us to get full volume and tonnage, which is at November. That's an early to mid-season planting. This is a mid to late. We have the rut zone that is right in the heart of the season, and they're just starting to eat. You can actually see over here in the rut zone, it looks almost ramped up, and that's because they come out of the woods right here behind Jen. They forage through here, so they're specifically hitting. You can see even in that corner right there, Jen. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the video, but in that corner it's pretty low, because the deer come out of this side the majority of the time, and they're really picking on. You see no flowers there? That's because there's no buckwheat. They've eaten the buckwheat down. They've eaten the soybeans down in that corner, but that's only like, 2% of the entire field. So we have so much volume growing out here that they're hitting that. So we're going to get full volume on our brassica. So we've covered, why we're planting it, of course, what we're planting, when we're planting, but where. We always want it next to another early season crop. We have the early to mid-season crop in our fall power greens over here. We have annual clover in there, peas, really high attraction stuff in combination that we've honed and worked on I have for the last 27 years, somewhere around there, 26 seasons, 27 seasons. But we've worked on that, and that's so they pick on that when everything's coming up. They leave this, and the rut zone just adds another feature where they're hitting that, establishing a pattern of use. That's more of a broad-based spectrum, really targeting the rut, and then leaving this alone. That's ultimately, so we never want to just come in here and plant all brassica out here. That'd be a really bad idea. Be a bad idea because they don't like eating it early. They don't like eating it in mid-season. So I want to establish a pattern of use starting in August. So we're already starting to get new bucks coming onto the property, and that's a great thing, because we planted the rut zone July 2nd. They started foraging on it in the last week. So about 4 weeks they gave it, because we didn't have any food out here other than buckwheat. In fact, here we didn't even have any clover. So we're starting the pattern of use on the food plot more sometime in early to end of August. and then we have different things peeking in the fields so that the deer can just come to the same field, stay in the same bedding areas, establish the same patterns, but then have food sources that are peaking in attraction and nutrition at different times throughout the season. Every planting you have only has about a 6 to 8 week window if you look at it that way. The Brassica, we want that to be November, December, not August, September, and not January, February. If it was all green globes and purple top, for example, they might not hit it till the end of December, and that'd be really bad. Jen, you have to be pretty pleased.
I'm very pleased. There's a couple spots I see that maybe it's a little thick, but
Yeah, and you can see like this row right here,
yeah.
it's probably doubled up when you
Sure.
went. And so you probably went close. That's okay. We're doing this all by hand. This is not machine planted in any way. Roll
Jen
it over.
planted.
It's Jen planted and Wes planted. Wes did that half, Jen did this half and this one. And then I was coming through and rolling and spraying everything. Spraying everything with the plot start. And the plot start gives it a germination boost. And so we throw the seed down, spray it immediately with the plot start. It was rolled the week, 5 days before.
I think
so. Yeah, because it was a Wednesday that we planted, and we had rolled everything over the previous Thursday or Friday.
I thought it was, yeah, regardless.
So it's about 6 days we gave it. But it's looking really good. And it's kind of cool because other than we'll add about 150 pounds per acre of rye over the fall power greens, this is done. We don't even need to clear any shooting lanes for that blind right there. So this plot is done. We have a camera right over here, and it's probably gotten a couple pictures of us, I imagine. In fact, I'll check it as we speak here. But we don't need to do anything out here. We're done. See a nice deer trail coming right through there behind you? They come in right over here. On that camera over there, we have a mock scrape. We have a stand location that's all cleared out. The hang on that Wes helped establish right up there. And I can see us driving by. Let's walk up here a little bit. But we're getting some cool bucks here. We've actually, one of the first glimpses of Junior, Jen found him right over here. So going in there. So Junior hangs out in here, and he's our resident 6-year-old that's around here a lot. He's one of our target bucks for this year. Jen, target for newbie, the Big 12, Junior, or LL Beams if he was around. He'd be probably 7 this year. Which one?
Gosh, that's a tough one. Newbie's neat because
Newbie's got to be 15, 16 points, drop time.
But he's super unique. Junior, you have so many years of history with him, and it's fun to track those bucks throughout the time. I don't know.
Doing a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah, geez, I don't know. They're all beautiful this year. What are you thinking?
I might surprise you on this, but
Junior.
like newbie and that Big 12 are ones that come in later in the season. So I would say that, I mean, if you're going by score, newbie and the Big 12 are pushing 180. Junior's in that 160 range. LL Beams.
If LL Beams is alive, you have to go after.
I would go after LL Beams.
Yeah.
Yeah, regardless of the score. I think LL Beams last year was around 160-inch buck, and he would probably be the same this year. We're not sure.
We hope we saw him.
But even if he was 160 and newbie and Pokey's another one, he'll be giant. He comes in more December. But newbie and the Big 12, if they're pushing 180, I would still go for LL Beams.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, LL Beams is a special buck, and he owes me nothing. I had some great hunts, and got to watch him for 3 seasons. I hope he's still alive is the main thing. But yeah, anyways, this is the logging plot. This is where Jim, there's a camper right up here at one time. They actually logged out of this plot right here. There's a bunch of trash we had to clean up. There was stuff growing out here.
Snakes growing.
Big snake pit right here with tarps and a bunch of wood we had to clear. We cleared up these edges here, and it had never been a food plot. It had been planted probably 20 years ago. So now we've turned it into this. Never been plowed, disked, or tilled. So, and as usual, if you guys have questions, we've been accumulating. I'd say we're about up to 20 voicemails, 25 voicemails. of people with questions for our podcast. We need to do that this week. It would be our first one, and we're looking forward to that. So maybe one of you that have left a voicemail will get a call so that you can be on there for discussing those questions on our podcast in person, and that'd be amazing. But whatever questions you have that are pertinent to the timing of what's going on in the whitetail world, that's what we'd like to discuss with you, and we can't wait to get that going.